This mass disaster was a shooting in Parkland, Florida, that killed 17 people and injured 17 others. This was one of the deadliest high school shootings in history by a former student named Nicholas Cruz. He opened fire on a stolen man Douglas High School on February 14, 2018. He first entered the freshman building, which had 900 students, including teachers and staff. Then he began to shoot. Less than 2 minutes, he killed 7 people and injured 13 others. He continued to shoot out doors and windows to gain access to students around the building. He then went to the third floor and killed 6 more people, and then he injured 4 less than 1 minute. Then he fled the building and he left a rifle in a staircase. Then he went to a local Walmart, a Subway, and a restaurant for a drink. Then he went to McDonald's, which he actually sat with one of the victim's brother. At this point, he was arrested. Cruz was a former student who was expelled for negative actions. When he was expelled, they said he was a risk to students in many ways. He was dressed in all black and camouflage, which was off-putting to many. Cruz was given up and adopted as he was born by Linda and Roger Cruz. He was 19 during the shooting, and his mom had passed away a few months before. So Cruz was lonely. Cruz had already lost his father when he was a kid, so that just made everything worse. When he finally pleaded guilty to all charges, he shared with a doctor that he chose February 14th because no one loved him and he wanted to ruin a holiday for everyone. Since he was given up for adoption, he felt like the world around him was giving up on him and crashing around him. After the shooting, many survivors have discussed trauma and PTSD and survivor's guilt. Some students have unfortunately taken their own life after this event. Others have pushed their actions towards gun control and discussing new laws in Florida. This event has had a massive impact on families and community. Parents have said that they have an uneasy feeling of letting their child go back to school. The community has pushed more gun control to make schools a safer place for students. This mass disaster wasn't focused on many different demographics, but it was also said that Nicholas Cruz would wear a swastika on his backpack. A swastika is a symbol of hate and was one of the reasons leading up to him getting expelled. In the human service field, something that would immediately help the community could be bringing in therapists to help students, parents, and staff to have conversations with them. Another way could be to set up some kind of food drive for families that were affected. Their first priority is not to cook for themselves or to get groceries or anything. So this could help them focus on their families. In education as a teacher, you could provide as much support as you can with your students by having them journal in class to write their thoughts down or bring in emotional support animals to hang out with students. My first example of crisis response follows the CCP guidelines by remaining anonymous and creating a safe place for those affected to get food and feed themselves with no strings attached. My second example of crisis work allows for students to anonymously put their thoughts on paper and meet support animals that can help them get readjusted to school.